Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. First of all, before I start this video, I want to say a big thank you to those of you who left me such warm, thoughtful, kind, uplifting, inspiring, comforting, supportive comments from my last video. I did an unboxing, but it was sort of an unusual unboxing because as I was unboxing, I was talking about how I've been struggling with stress and exhaustion and health issues for a while now. And I wasn't sure about presenting that information to you all because I try to make this a happy place and I try to be peppy and upbeat, and we are mostly focused on frivolous, fun things like pretty handbags and luxury and fashion. So I was hesitant, but I thought to myself, I just wanted to be authentic and true to what I was going through, and also hope that maybe it will help some of you out there if you feel that you can relate. And I have to say the comments that many of you left me have been giving me such strength. So again, thank you. And especially for those of you who have been sharing a bit of your own stories where you are struggling with your own version of burnout. And some of you are dealing with some real illnesses, diseases that you have been fighting. And my heart goes out to you. In a lot of those cases, many of you shared that you believe it's directly linked to stress in your life. And I've been reading this book here, and I wholeheartedly believe that stress is a much more powerful trigger of illness than we like to recognize. This is by Dr. Gabor Mate, and it's When the Body Says No. And when the body says no, which is what my body is doing now, I have a tendency to ignore my body and just push through. What I tell myself almost every day is just get through it, power through it. That's one of my favorite phrases. Well, not any longer. Power through it and finish the job. I've been telling myself that for years now, and now my body is speaking up and rebelling against my bossiness. And I'm thankful, actually, as exhausted as I am thankful for the signals my body is giving me, because now I can actually make some changes. Now I'm forced to make some changes. So for those of you who are struggling as well with your own recovery, your own illnesses, I hope that you have a full, complete recovery, and that you give yourself the time to heal, to reflect, to make changes. And I think for me in particular, I'm realizing that I have been in a pattern where I've been reading books like this book here. It's called To Hell with the Hustle. I read this book years ago. It's been several years. I have read probably 2 or 3 dozens of books that all have a similar theme of slowing down, cutting out the noise, reducing the hustle, finding self-worth in who you are versus what you do. So many books. I can probably fill a library, at least a couple shelves of books just with that kind of messaging. But I've realized finally that as much as I've longed for that, and I've read up on it, and I've researched on it, and I've encouraged others to do that, I have not made serious changes in my own lifestyle to actually mirror slowing down. In fact, I always felt like I want to slow down, but I'm too busy to slow down. It reminds me of a time when I went to do yoga. It was one of my first times trying yoga. And I said to myself, I don't know if this is for me. I'm so inflexible. And throughout the class, there were so many people who were doing all kinds of poses, incredible poses. They look so strong, so flexible. So at the end of the class, I said to the yoga instructor, I don't know if yoga is for me. I'm really not flexible and I don't feel strong. And she giggled kindly and she said, that's exactly why you need yoga. If you're inflexible and you're not strong, yoga will help you to get more flexible and increase your strength. And I thought, oh, how interesting how our brain tells us these lies to keep us in our usual habitual patterns, because that's comfortable. But when she said that to me, I thought to myself, that's right. And that's how I feel about slowing down. I always said, I want to slow down, but my life is just too busy to slow down. I can't slow down. Well, let's make myself less busy. I need to start making changes. So this is another book that's really excellent. I recommend highly. It's called Essentialism. And at the root of it is about focusing on the most meaningful aspects of your life and reducing the noise and all the distractions. And of course, easier said than done, but so So good. You have to read it. If you're interested and you're in this kind of mindset, I think it's a great book. So it's not easy. I know that. I'm going through it now. But it is actually simple, and that's what I wanted to share. I'm realizing that it's simple to determine what's not serving me anymore. What's not serving you in your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's how you spend your time, energy, and resources, whether it's how you spend your money, whether it's your job, whether it's your obligations. You know, if you were to really stop and quiet everything around you and sit and reflect for even 20 minutes, you know what's not serving you. And if your mind doesn't give you the answer, your body will. If you sit, you will feel the pain in parts of your body. I have chronic neck, back, shoulder aches for years. I have now started to get headaches, pain in my eyeballs. I mean, is that a thing? For a while now, my eyeballs have been hurting. Just overall fatigue. I described it as feeling like I have gotten hit by a truck and my whole body is bruised and tender. And another friend of mine who's also going through some difficulties for quite some time, actually, she described it as her whole body feeling like it's on fire and just burning and tingling. These are not good things, but these are signals that our body is giving us. And these are signals we are meant to pay attention to. This is our body's cue to say something's not right. You need to stop, change, adjust, or whatever that is. You have to figure it out, right? So I know, for example, a few years ago, I knew that there was a relationship in my life that was no longer serving me. I was very stubborn about it. For years, I hung on to that. It was a friendship. And the minute I let go, I felt so free and light. And so your body knows. Your body knows when it feels burdened and tense, and your body knows when it feels good and healthy and strong. So I am definitely going to start making some changes. I've been feeling burnout for a long time. This whole year has been just alive, been stretched like a rubber band for longer than this year. But it was the early part of this year that my doctor mentioned he thought I was depressed. He suggested I go on antidepressants. I refused the medication, not because I'm anti-medication, but because I was very unsure and skeptical that I was indeed, was I really depressed? I wasn't sure. So I went on this whole journey to do some research and also for the first time in my life, talk to a therapist and several other professionals. And it turns out that depression is often confused with burnout. They have very similar symptoms: pain in your body, fatigue, loss of appetite, loss of sleep, irritability, so many things. Lack of motivation because you're fried. Your system is fried. It's about to shut down. So after several months of discovery and research, I have determined that it is indeed burnout, which can, by the way, turn into depression if it goes on for too long. But as we know, depression oftentimes is caused by chemical imbalances. So they're slightly different, but they appear the same. And I know what's burning me out, but I've been very stubborn about acknowledging it because you get addicted to the busyness. You get addicted to the hustle. You get addicted to the pride, the ego that comes with who you are and what you do. You get addicted to whatever comes with, even if something in your life is not serving you, there's probably something you're getting out of it. And so you might get addicted to that small portion, even if 90% of it is actually harming you. So I've been doing a lot of homework on myself, almost like a evaluation, and I'm on the road to recovery. And I've come to really enjoy the word recover because I read that recover actually means to find again. And that's perfectly how I would describe it. Finding myself again. Because for months I've been telling my close family members and friends that I don't feel like myself. I feel that I've lost myself. I've literally lost myself in the hustle. That could happen. And I am now prepared to make some tough choices. Like I said, it's not going to be easy, but it's simple. Tough choices, just cutting out certain parts of my life that are not serving me, that are not just not serving me, but they're actually holding me back and they're harming me. And there is a ripple effect when you harm someone who happens to be a wife and a mother, right? Or other relationships, even if you're not a wife and a mother. If you are in a bad state of mind for too long, it starts to spread because you cannot give the best of yourself to your loved ones. So I was talking to my dad not too long ago, and you know, he's kind of a funny guy and he's kind of blunt, but he's just got a heart of gold. And he said to me, "You are actually being selfish by taking on so much because now you're worrying all the people who love you." And that really hit me because I always thought it would be selfish to stop. It would be selfish to slow down. I thought it would be lazy for me not to do all this much. I thought it would be that I was being a brat or entitled. And it's gotten to the point where even my dad, who is a hardworking, you know, he came here as an immigrant, has probably the strongest work ethic of anyone that I know, worked nonstop for so many years to provide for our family, sacrificed so much, and he is telling me that I'm being selfish by taking on so much because I'm worrying everyone. So that is where I am today, and I wanted to share something with you here. It's a simple question, but really powerful, and I wanted to share it with you all in case it's helpful. So I've underlined a bunch of things in this magazine, but it says, what would be a better version of your life? So what would a better version of my life look like? And then it says, a great part of self-actualization is about developing a clear vision of where you want to go or where you want to get to. So, and then it goes on, you know, ask yourself if there are relationships that aren't good for you or if you could improve your lifestyle habits, such as getting more sleep, etc. But what would a better version of my life look like? It feels so exciting and liberating to think of it that way. It's started to make me think kind of like a daydreamer versus punishing myself and saying, I can't handle it. I can't complete all that I've committed to. I can't take this all on anymore, so I'm going to have to say no. It almost felt like a punishment to me as I'm a type A personality. It made me feel that I was less than I had to say no, but actually it's super empowering that you are in control of your yeses and nos. And even good things, like I said before, even good things you might have to say no to preserve yourself, your sanity, your health, your mental well-being. And so that's where I'm at. I don't have any answers, but I want to share with you my journey along the way, and I'm hoping I can share with you whatever lessons that I learn. So far, I've learned that I am not the boss of my body. That is not the way it's supposed to be. We are all supposed to be a team, mind, body, and soul. I also recognize that I have become addicted to the hustle, and I forgot along the way why I hustle. What is the purpose? What is the point? I've lost my vision, the bigger picture, so I'm working on that now. And like I said, I've recognized that it's not easy to make changes, but it is simple. It is clear and simple. You just got to do the work to make those changes. And I also learned that being selfish is not a bad thing. I think in our language, when we say selfish, it's meant to be like an insult. But I watched a video recently of a very, very highly successful woman who is now, I believe, the chief marketing officer of Netflix, one of those major companies. She's had a really amazing career and a life. She's got tragedy in her life, success in her life, very dynamic story that she shared in the video. And she basically changed the definition of selfish in my head by what she said. She said that being selfish is putting yourself first when something no longer serves you. She said if you identify something that no longer serves you in your life, you need to put your needs first. You need to prioritize yourself and determine what to do about that thing. And in a lot of cases, it's to make a change or to say no or to cut it out or to step away or to slow down, right? So being selfish is not a bad thing. I know we like to say self-care, but I would like to normalize the word selfish. Even as little kids, we say you're selfish if you don't share. If you don't want to share your thing because it's precious to you and it has meaning to you, I think we have to teach our kids when they're young that there are boundaries to be respected, and if they don't want to do something because something means a lot to them or it's important or it feels uncomfortable to them and you're crossing a boundary, that it's okay that they be quote unquote selfish. And then finally, we talk about luxury a lot here. We talk about fashion, and this is, somewhat cliche, but I think we need a reminder that luxury is not what you buy off a shelf. Luxury is not when you spend all your money. Luxury is what money cannot buy. And that means that health, good health, is absolutely one of the highest luxuries that you could obtain ever. If you have good health, it is your It is your job to maintain it, to preserve it, to protect it. If you don't have good health, it is your right to prioritize it. I can say that 100 times over, but if I don't make changes that actually make myself healthier, then I would be an absolute hypocrite to myself. So I am going to make some changes, and over the next few months into next year, I will gladly share the changes that I'm making. They will be baby steps, but I will share as openly as I possibly can. The last thing I want to read to you is from this book here, and it's about stress addiction. I've been asking myself, am I addicted to stress? I mean, nobody wants to be stressed, but being addicted to the hustle sometimes means you have become addicted to the feeling of the stress that comes with the hustle. So here it says, for those habituated to high levels of internal stress since early childhood, it is the absence of stress that creates unease, evoking boredom and a sense of meaninglessness. Now, I've said this before, and I have very close friends of mine who also are type A and hustlers, New Yorkers, typical New Yorkers. And they say, I can't sit still. I don't know what I would do if I just sat home all day. I'd be so bored. I have to be on the move. I always have a place to be, things to do. That sounds like almost like an addiction, right? People may become addicted to their own stress hormones. Yeah, adrenaline and cortisol. To such people, stress feels desirable. I don't know if it's desirable, but I would say it feels familiar. I've always said, I need a little bit of stress to keep me going. I felt like stress motivates me, lights a fire under me. So it feels familiar and comfortable, like it's an old friend. So here it says, to such persons, stress feels desirable, while the absence of it feels like something to be avoided. So are you avoiding calm, peace, quiet, serenity? I think that it was at a very subconscious level. I wasn't aware of it, but I do think that my desire to constantly do and be productive and, succeed at things and take on a lot and say yes to so much. And, people say, you're a superwoman, you're a super mom. How can you do so much? I don't know how you find the time. I took a sense of pride in that. My ego grew in that. And that is not a healthy thing for me. I don't think it's healthy for anyone, because those things are all meaningless at the end of the day if you're not doing it for your own greater purpose and vision. And I do think that I have been avoiding the void of what it would feel like to not have stress because I'm not familiar with the quiet. But now, because my body has been screaming, I know that I need that. And I know that that is where peace, happiness, joy, serenity, calm, clear-headedness, simplicity, all of those things will be waiting for me there. So I am taking little steps towards that direction. And if you're in a similar boat, I know we all have very different lives, different circumstances, different relationships. We can never fully understand one another. But if you feel that this video resonates for you in any way, I hope that you will check out the books. Again, I'll link them down below, except for this magazine. I don't know if it's available online. I just picked it up at a random bookshop. But these 3 books are so good, I will tell you. And I hope that this video gives you some sense of comfort. We're not doing this thing called life alone. We're all in this together. And the more we share, the more human we are, the more we come together as humanity, and the more we can comfort and uplift each other. And you guys have been doing that for me, just even with your comments. So thank you so much for allowing me to do this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you found it to be impactful in any way. Feel free to ask me any questions. I promise to be as raw and open as possible as I go through this. And again, thank you so much. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.